Hi, hello. I am GV Srinivas Rao, Principal Atomic Energy Central School, Kodam. Let us discuss the basic concepts of chemistry, Module 2. In this module, let us discuss the laws of chemical combination, Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes, Dalton's atomic theory, Avogadro's law, relative atomic mass and relative molecular mass, percentage composition, empirical formula and molecular formula, and some numericals. Law of conservation of mass proposed by Lavoisier in 1774. It states that matter is neither created nor destroyed. During any physical or chemical change, the total mass of products is equal to the total mass of reactants. Now let us take an example of thermal heating of calcium carbonate. When calcium carbonate is heated, we get calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. When we heat 100 grams of calcium carbonate, it gives 60 grams of calcium oxide and 40 grams of carbon dioxide. Here, the total mass of products, that is calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, is 60 plus 40, that is 100, whereas the calcium carbonate before heating is also 100 grams. Therefore, this results proves the law of conservation of mass. Law of constant proportions or law of definite proportions proposed by Joseph Proust in 1799. This law states that elements combine in a definite ratio by mass to form a compound, irrespective of the method of preparation or source of availability. Now let us take an example. Carbon dioxide can be prepared in different ways. CO2 is prepared in the laboratory for the demonstration purpose. The reaction of dilute hydrochloric acid on marble chips is carried on, and the reaction is CaCO3 plus HCl gives CaCl2 plus water plus carbon dioxide. Similarly, carbon dioxide can be obtained by direct heating of coal. Carbon dioxide is also obtained by heating limestone, and we get carbon dioxide. Now here, in all these reactions, we are getting carbon dioxide, and whatever be the method of preparation we use here, the ratio of masses of carbon and oxygen in carbon dioxide is 12:32, that is 3:8. This verifies the law of constant proportions. Now let us see a numerical. Mass of copper oxide obtained by treating 2.16 gram of metallic copper with nitric acid and subsequent ignition was 2.70 gram. In another experiment, 1.15 gram of copper oxide on reduction yielded 0.92 gram of carbon. Show that these results illustrate the law of constant proportions. Now let us see the solution. In the first experiment, copper reacts with nitric acid and we get copper nitrate along with nitrogen dioxide and water. This copper nitrate on heating gives copper oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. And in the second reaction, copper oxide on analysis gives copper and oxygen. Now let us have these experimental data in table. In experiments 1 and 2, the mass of copper is 2.16 gram and 0.92 gram, whereas mass of oxygen is 0.54 and 0.23 gram, and the mass of copper oxide is 2.70 gram and 1.15 gram. Now in sample 1, percentage of oxygen is obtained by the mass of oxygen by mass of copper oxide into 100. That is 0.54 into 100 by 2.7, which is equal to 20%. In sample 2, percentage of oxygen is calculated as mass of oxygen by mass of copper oxide into 100, and the final value is 20%. So in both the experiments, the percentage of oxygen in both the samples is same, that is 20%, showing that the above example illustrates the law of constant proportions. Law of multiple proportions proposed by John Dalton in 1803. When two elements combine with each other to form two or more compounds, the masses of one of the elements which combine with the fixed mass of the other bear a simple whole number ratio to one another. Now let us see an example. Carbon and oxygen combine in two different ratios by mass to form two different compounds, that is carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. In carbon monoxide, the ratio of masses of carbon and oxygen is 12:16, whereas in carbon dioxide it is 12:32. In both the compounds, the mass of carbon is same, that is 12. Ratio of different masses of oxygen in two oxides is 16:32, which is equal to 1:2, and this is a simple whole number ratio. Now let us illustrate the law of multiple proportions with an example. Sulfur and oxygen are known to form two compounds. The sulfur content in one of these compounds is 50% and while in other is 40%. Show that this data is in agreement with the law of multiple proportions. Now let us see the solution. In compound 1, mass of sulfur and mass of oxygen, each one is 50%, whereas in compound 2, mass of sulfur is 40% and mass of oxygen is 60%. Now let us see the number of parts by mass of oxygen that combine with one part of sulfur. It is given by as mass of oxygen by mass of sulfur. In first compound 50/50, which is equal to 1, whereas in second compound 60/40, that is equal to 3/2. So this 1:3/2 is equal to 2:3, which is a simple whole number ratio. In experiment 1 and 3, the ratio of masses of oxygen 7:8. Therefore, in both the experiments, the ratio of masses of nitrogen and oxygen is 7:8. So here, as the ratio is same, here the law applicable is law of constant proportions. In experiment 1 and 2, ratio of masses of nitrogen is same, whereas ratio of mass of oxygen is 8:16. The simple ratio is 1:2. Therefore, law of multiple proportions holds good here. In experiment 2 and 3 also, the ratio of masses of oxygen is 16:8, whereas mass of nitrogen is same. Therefore, law of multiple proportions holds good here. Whereas in experiments 2, 3 and 4, the masses of nitrogen are same, that is 7, whereas ratio of masses of oxygen is 16:8:20, that is 4:1:5. Therefore, here law of multiple proportions hold good. Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. Gay-Lussac observed that there exists a definite relationship between the volumes of gases when they combine to each other. This law states that when gases react with each other, they do so in volumes which bear a simple whole number ratio to one another and to the volumes of products if these are also gases, provided all the volumes are measured under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. Now let us see an example. Hydrogen and chlorine combine to form hydrogen chloride when they are kept in the same container. Hydrogen plus chlorine gives hydrogen chloride, and experimentally it was proved that one volume of hydrogen combines with one volume of chlorine and we get 2 volumes of hydrogen chloride. Therefore, the ratio of volumes of hydrogen, chlorine and hydrogen chloride is 1:1:2. Now let us see a numerical based on this Gay-Lussac's law. Hydrogen and nitrogen combine to form ammonia at 450 Kelvin and 200 atmospheric pressures in the presence of a catalyst, that is finely divided iron. This method of manufacture of ammonia is called Haber process. So the reaction is nitrogen plus hydrogen gives ammonia. Experiment proved that 1 volume of nitrogen combines with 3 volumes of hydrogen and we get 2 volumes of ammonia. So this becomes 1 liter plus 3 liters gives 2 liters. All the reactants are in gaseous state at the same conditions of temperature and pressure. Therefore, the ratio of volumes of nitrogen and hydrogen is 1:3. As ammonia is also gas, then the ratio of nitrogen, hydrogen and ammonia is 1:3:2. Now let us discuss the question number 1.26 from NCERT textbook. If 10 volumes of dihydrogen reacts with 5 volumes of dioxane, how many volumes of water vapor would be formed? So from the reaction, hydrogen plus oxygen gives water vapor. And experiments proved that when two volumes of hydrogen combines with one volume of oxygen, then we get two volumes of water vapor. So in the problem, it is given 10 volumes of hydrogen and 5 volumes of oxygen. Therefore, we get 10 volumes of water vapor. As per the experimental information, the ratio of volumes of hydrogen and oxygen and water vapor is 2:1:2. Dalton's atomic theory. By observing the laws of chemical combination, John Dalton in 1808 proposed his atomic theory of matter. The main points of Dalton's atomic theory are: matter is made up of extremely small indivisible particles called atoms. Atoms of the same element are identical in all respects like size, shape, mass, chemical properties, etc. Atoms of different elements differ in their properties, that is size, shape, mass, chemical properties. Atom is the smallest possible particle that takes part in chemical reactions. Atoms of different elements may combine with each other in a fixed simple whole number ratio to form compound atoms. Atoms can neither be created nor destroyed. Limitations of Dalton's atomic theory. Dalton's theory could explain the laws of chemical combination, but it failed to explain how atoms of different elements differ from each other, how and why atoms of different elements combine with each other. It failed to explain the laws of gaseous volumes and the nature of forces that bind together different atoms in a molecule. It failed to make any distinction between atom and molecule. From the above discussion, it is evident that one compound atom of hydrochloric acid contains one atom of hydrogen and one atom of chlorine. From this, it may be concluded that atom is divisible, and this is against to Dalton's atomic theory. Avogadro, an Italian chemist, modified Berzelius' hypothesis by differentiating between atom and molecule. The smallest particle of an element that takes part in chemical reactions is called atom, and the smallest particle of a substance, that is either element or compound, that has independent existence is called molecule. Avogadro proposed a law in 1888, that is Avogadro's law. Avogadro proposed that equal volumes of all gases at the same temperature and pressure should contain equal number of molecules. Thus, on applying Avogadro's law to the reaction between hydrogen and chlorine, so one volume of hydrogen combines with one volume of chlorine and we get two volumes of hydrogen chloride, and one molecule of hydrogen combines with one molecule of chlorine and we get two molecules. So to get one molecule, here one half molecule of hydrogen combines with a half molecule of chlorine. So it means that one molecule of hydrogen chloride contains a half molecule of hydrogen and a half molecule of chlorine. Since a molecule may contain two or more atoms, it is possible to divide into atoms. Thus, Avogadro's law is not in conflict with Dalton's atomic theory. Atomicity of elementary gases. Atomicity of an elementary substance is the number of atoms in a molecule of that element. From the previous example of formation of hydrogen chloride from hydrogen and chlorine, it has been shown that half molecule of hydrogen combines with half molecule of chlorine to form one molecule of hydrogen chloride. Since all hydrogen of HCl is ionizable, it indicates that one molecule of hydrogen chloride has one atom of hydrogen. So hydrochloric acid is a monobasic acid. A monobasic acid is that having one replaceable H plus ion per molecule. From the above observation, it follows that half molecule of hydrogen is equal to one atom of hydrogen, which means that molecule of hydrogen has two atoms of hydrogen. Thus, atomicity of hydrogen is 2. Similarly, atomicity of oxygen is 2, chlorine is 2. Gases whose atomicity is 2 are referred to as diatomic gases. Their molecules are H2, O2, N2, F2, etc. in gases of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine. Atomic mass. Atomic mass of an atom is very small. Today, we have all sophisticated techniques like mass spectroscopy to find atomic mass. But in 19th century, there were no such techniques to find atomic mass. Hence, scientists could determine the mass of one atom relative to another by experimental means. Hydrogen, being the lightest atom, was arbitrarily assigned a mass of 1. In 1961, the International Union of Chemistry selected the most suitable isotope of carbon, that is C12, as a standard comparison of atomic masses of various elements. The scale in which the relative atomic mass of different atoms expressed is called atomic mass unit or AMU scale. Now, a recent symbol U, that is unified mass, is recommended in place of AMU. Thus, atomic mass unit or unified mass may be defined as 1/12th mass of actual mass of an atom, that is C12 isotope. Atomic mass equal to mass of an atom of the element by 1/12th mass of an atom of C12 isotope. One atomic mass unit equal to 1.66056 into 10 power minus 24 grams, and mass of one hydrogen atom is equal to 1.6736 into 10 power minus 24 grams. Thus, mass of hydrogen atom in terms of AMU is equal to 1.0080 AMU or units. Similarly, mass of one oxygen atom, that is O16 isotope, would be 15.995 units. Average atomic mass. Average atomic mass of an atom can be computed by taking into consideration of all the isotopes of that element and their relative abundance. So, average atomic mass equal to average mass of an atom by 1/12 into mass of an atom of C12 isotope. As mentioned, the word average has been used in the above definition is very significant because elements occur in nature as a mixture of several isotopes. So, atomic mass can be computed as average atomic mass equal to relative abundance of first isotope into its atomic mass plus relative abundance of second isotope into its atomic mass, and so on, by relative abundance of first element plus relative abundance of second element plus and so on, depending on the number of isotopes of that element available in the nature. Now let us understand the relative atomic mass by taking an example. Carbon is available in the nature in three isotopes, that is C12, C13, C14, and the relative abundance is 98.892, 1.108, 2 into 10 power minus 10. The atomic mass of each isotope is 12, 13.00335, 14.00317 respectively. Now, average atomic mass equal to relative abundance of first isotope into its atomic mass, that is 98.892 into 12 plus 1.108 into 13.00335 plus relative abundance of third isotope, that is 2 into 10 power minus 10 into 14.00317. After calculating, we get the value as 12.011. Thus, the relative atomic mass of a carbon is 12.011. Now let us see a numerical, that is question number 1.9 from NCERT textbook. Calculate the average atomic mass of chlorine using the following data. Chlorine is available as two isotopes, that is Cl35, Cl37, and the relative abundance is 75.77, 24.33, and the molecular mass is 34.9689 and 36.9659. Therefore, relative atomic mass is given as relative abundance of first isotope into its atomic mass plus relative abundance of second isotope into its atomic mass, and the calculations are shown here: 75.77 into 34.9689 plus 24.33 into 36.9659 by 100. So after calculation, we get the relative atomic mass of chlorine as 35.48 and it is rounded to nearest digit, that is 35.5. Similarly, let us do the question number 1.32. Use the data given in the following table to calculate the molar mass of naturally occurring argon isotopes. So argon is available in two isotopes in the nature, argon 36, argon 38 and argon 40, and the relative isotopic masses are 35.96755 and so on, whereas relative abundance of these three isotopes is 0.337, 0.063, 99.600. So relative atomic mass is calculated as and finally we get the value 39.94 and it is rounded to nearest number, that is 40. Thus relative atomic mass of argon is calculated as 40 units. Now let us see molecular mass. Molecular mass of an element or compound may be defined as average relative mass of a molecule of that substance as compared to the mass of an atom of C12 isotope taken as 12 units. Molecular mass is the sum of atomic masses of all the elements present in a molecule. It is obtained by multiplying the atomic mass of each element by the number of its atoms and adding together. Now let us try to understand with an example. Molecular mass of methane is CH4. So one molecule of methane has one atom of carbon and 4 atoms of hydrogen. Thus molecular mass of methane equal to 1 atom of carbon into its atomic mass plus 4 atoms of hydrogen into its atomic mass. Therefore 1 into 12.01 plus 4 into 1.008, which is equal to 16.043 units. Thus molecular mass of methane is 16.043 units. Now let us do a small problem. Calculate the molecular mass of butane C4H10 molecule. So molecular mass of butane equal to 4 atoms of carbon into its atomic mass plus 10 atoms of hydrogen into its atomic mass. Thus molecular mass of butane is found as 58.12 units. Now let us discuss the formula mass. Some substances such as sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium chloride, etc. do not have discrete molecules as they are ionic substances. They have oppositely charged ions. Sodium chloride has sodium and chloride ions. Potassium chloride has potassium and chloride ions and so on. In sodium chloride, each sodium ion is surrounded by 6 chloride ions and vice versa. The formula of sodium chloride is used to calculate the formula mass since sodium chloride does exist as a single unit. Therefore, formula of sodium chloride equal to atomic mass of sodium atom plus atomic mass of chlorine atom, which is equal to 23 plus 35.5, which is equal to 58.8. Molar mass and mole concept. Atoms and molecules are extremely small in size and their numbers even in small amount is very large. To overcome these difficulties, the concept of mole was introduced. According to this concept, the number of particles of a substance is related to the mass of the substance. For the sake of counting elementary particles, the number of atoms in 12 grams of C12 isotope is taken as a standard. This number has been experimentally found to be 6.023 into 10 power 23 and this number is called Avogadro number. And mass of the substance equal to this number is known as a mole. Thus, Avogadro number. Mole may be defined as the amount of substance that contains as many specified elementary particles as the number of atoms in 12 grams of C12 isotope. In simple terms, it is defined as the Avogadro number of particles of any substance. Molar mass of the substance is the mass of Avogadro number of particles. Thus, 1 mole of oxygen atoms is equal to 16 grams and 1 mole of oxygen has 6.023 into 10 power 23 atoms. Similarly, 1 mole of dioxin gas has 6.023 into 10 power 23 molecules. Molar mass is the mass of 1 mole of particles or mass of 1 mole of a substance in grams is called molar mass. For example, molar mass of water is 18.02 gram per mole. Similarly, molar mass of sodium chloride, that is common salt, is 58.5 gram per mole. From the above discussion, the mass of 1 mole of atom is referred as gram atomic mass. Similarly, mass of 1 mole of molecules of a substance is referred as gram molecular mass. Now let us discuss the question 1.28 from NCERT textbook. Which one of the following will have the largest number of atoms? 1 gram of gold, 1 gram of sodium, 1 gram of lithium, 1 gram of chlorine molecules. Solution: 1 gram of gold, and atomic mass of these elements respectively are: atomic mass of gold is 197, atomic mass of sodium is 23, atomic mass of lithium is 7, and molecular mass of chlorine is 71. Now let us calculate the number of atoms as number of moles into Avogadro number. So first of all, we have to calculate how many moles of substance are present in 1 gram of each of these atoms. So 1 mole of gold equal to number of moles are obtained by given mass by atomic mass. So 1 by 197. So number of atoms is given as number of moles into Avogadro number. Therefore 1 by 197 into 6.023 into 10 power 23. And number of atoms in sodium is 1 by 123 into Avogadro number. Number of atoms in lithium is 1 by 7 into Avogadro number. Number of molecules in chlorine is 1 by 71 into 6.023. So if we take this Avogadro number as a common factor and removed, then the numbers left are 1 by 197, 1 by 23, 1 by 7 and 1 by 71. So in all these fractions, the fraction whose denominator is least is the greatest number. Thus, as lithium has least denominator, it has a greater number of atoms in 1 gram of its substance. Let us discuss another question, that is 1.33 from NCERT textbook. Calculate the number of atoms in each of the following: 52 moles of argon, 52 units of helium, 52 grams of helium. Now 1 mole of argon equal to 40 grams. And 1 mole of any substance has a Avogadro number of particles, that is 6.023 into 10 power 23. Now here 52 moles of argon is given, therefore number of atoms in 52 moles of argon equal to 52 into 6.023 into 10 power 23 atoms. Similarly, relative atomic mass of helium is 4 units, but here in the problem it is given 52 units. Therefore, number of atoms present in 52 units equal to 52 by 4, that is 13 atoms. And in third question, 52 grams of helium is given. And 1 gram atom of helium is 4 as its atomic mass is 4. So 52 grams of helium gas has 52 by 4, that is 13 gram atoms. And 13 gram atoms, number of atoms present in 13 gram atoms equal to 13 into Avogadro number. As we have lot of practice, you can work out these questions from the NCERT textbook 1.4, 1.10 and 1.30. Relationship between molar mass and volume. Avogadro's law states that equal volumes of all gases contain the same number of molecules under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. In other words, different samples of gases containing same number of molecules occupy the same volume under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. Since 1 mole of all gases contain same number, that is Avogadro number of molecules, therefore they occupy the same volume under the same conditions of temperature and pressure. Thus, the volume occupied by 1 mole of any gas is called molar mass or gram molar volume, denoted by GMV. 1 mole of any gas occupies 22.4 liters at 273 Kelvin and 760 mm of pressure, which we call it as STP conditions, and it is proved experimentally. Hence, the molar volume of STP conditions is 22.4 liters. Based on this, let us do a small calculation. What is the molar mass of a gas if 1 liter of the gas weighs 1.5 gram at 273 Kelvin and 1 atmospheric pressure? As per the molar mass, 22.4 22.4 liters of gas weighs 1 gram molecular mass. In the problem, it is given that 1 liter of the gas has a mass of 1.5 gram. Therefore, 22.4 liters occupy how much gas? Now, after calculation, it was found as 33.6 grams. Thus, the molar mass of this gas is 33.6 grams. So, based on the above calculations and discussions, now you can work out the question number 1.1. Calculate the molar mass of the following, that is water molecule, carbon dioxide molecule, and methane molecule. Percentage composition. Calculating percentage composition of each element is very important in calculating the empirical formula and molecular formula. Mass percentage of any element in a compound can be calculated as mass of that element in the compound by molar mass of the compound into 100. So to find the percentage composition of each element in water, let us have this as an example. Molar mass of water is 18. Therefore, percentage composition of hydrogen equal to 2 by 18 into 100, that is 11.11. And percentage of oxygen is 88.88. Now let us do a small problem based on the above calculations. Question number 1.7 from NCERT textbook. How much copper can be obtained from 100 gram of copper sulfate? Copper sulfate molar mass is calculated as copper sulfate CuSO4 has 1 atom of copper, 1 atom of sulfur, and 4 atoms of oxygen. So 1 into 63.5, 1 into 32 plus 4 into 16 equal to 159.5 gram mole. So copper sulfate, weight of copper sulfate, weight of copper. If 159.5 gram of copper sulfate has 63.5 grams, then 100 grams of copper sulfate has how much? So this is calculated as 39.81. Therefore, percentage of copper in copper sulfate is 39.81. So in the same manner, you can calculate the mass percentage of different elements present in sodium sulfate, that is Na2SO4. Empirical formula. First of all, let us see this example. Molecular formula of butane is C4H10. The ratio of atoms of carbon and hydrogen present in one butane molecule is 4:10, and in simple terms of ratio, it is C:5. So with this simple ratio, if you write the formula of butane, this becomes C2H5. And this C2H5 is referred as empirical formula of butane. Thus, empirical formula of a compound may be defined as the formula which gives the simplest whole number ratio of atoms of the various elements present in one molecule of that compound. Thus, molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6. Therefore, the ratio of atoms of different elements, that is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, is 6:12:6. And the simple ratio is 1:2:1. Therefore, empirical formula of glucose is CH2O. Let us do a numerical. An organic compound on analysis gave the following data. Percentage of carbon is 57.82, hydrogen 3.6, and the rest is oxygen. If its vapor density is 8.83, find the empirical formula and molecular formula. Now let us work out this solution by taking the data in a table. So these are the different elements present in the compound: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and percentage composition of each element is 57.32 for carbon, 3.62 of hydrogen, and 38.58 of oxygen. Now this percentage composition is divided by its atomic mass, therefore we get the relative number of moles. So relative number of moles of carbon equal to 57.82 by 12, we get 4.818, and that of hydrogen we get 3.6 moles, and that of oxygen is 2.4. In all these, the ratio of number of moles is 4.818, 3.6, and 2.4. So out of all these, the least number is 2.6. So to get the simple ratio, divide each number of moles by the simple least number present in it. Therefore, 4.818 by 2.4 equal to 2, and for hydrogen it is 1.5, and for oxygen is 1. So here in this simple ratio, this comes as a decimal, and we know that we do not have a half atom. Therefore, to get the simplest ratio, multiply this ratio of 2:1.5:1 by a suitable number. Therefore, we get a simple ratio. So that is 4:3:1. So taking these numbers in writing the formula, we get the empirical formula of the compound as C4H3O2. So C4H3O2. Now the molecular relation between molecular mass and vapor density is given as molecular mass equal to 2 into vapor density is equal to 2 into 83 equal to 166. Now if we calculate the empirical formula mass, 4 atoms of carbon into hydrogen, 3 atoms of hydrogen into its atomic mass, and 2 atoms of oxygen into its atomic mass, therefore we get 83. Now the relation between empirical formula mass and molecular formula mass is given as N equal to molecular formula mass by empirical formula mass, which is equal to 166 by 83 equal to 2. Thus molecular formula equal to empirical formula into 2. Therefore C4H3O2 taken twice is equal to C8H6O4. Thus the molecular formula of the compound given in the problem is C8H6O4. In the next module, we discuss the chemical reactions and concentration methods of solutions. Thank you.